Welcome, folks, to our 1979 Mets replay, the forgotten era of baseball. I read an article about the 80s baseball. It's called the forgotten era, so I guess this is the almost forgotten era, 1979. And today it's San Diego in Flushing, Queens at Shea Stadium versus the Mets. It's Bob Shirley going for the San Diego Padres and Andy Hassler going for the Mets. Now, how did Hassler do? He's a lefty, 28 years old. I know he played with the Kansas City Royals. Recently joined the Mets. He's got a 30-31 for wild pitch. In this actual game, there are no errors committed, and Andy Hassler throws 2 wild pitches. And with the Mets, he was 4-5 with a 3.70 ERA. He both pitched out of the bullpen and started 8 games for a total of 29. Then Bob Shirley is on the mound for the Padres, and Shirley was 8-16 with a 3.38 ERA. So that's a tough one to comprehend. Had a real good ERA, but it seems that he got no run support. So we're right about to start here. Game number 81. We're halfway through the season. Let's see if we can get our crowd going. All right. All right, that should be good. And we're right about to start. We're using payoff pitch, using dice and fast action cards for certain things, for base advancement and errors and range and so on. Andy Hassler's pitching to Gene Richards, who's leading it off for the Padres. He's a center fielder. Speedster, had 24 stolen bases out of 32 attempts. And let's see, we have an 11. An 11 is a tough and a tough 48 versus a lefty. Ooh, right outside the hit range. That's going to be an out. Grounded to third. Hebner. I hit that by accident, by the way. It's not a foul ball. It was a fair ball. And that's 1 away. Next is Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith batted .228 versus lefties. We're using the split cards. Now, some other guys for this time period like to use the straight out. I'm fine either one. I mean, I don't think about it too much. Tough 41, and that's going to be popped up left side. Tavares calling for it, and that's out number 2. And it's a 7. It's tough off of Hassler, 69. A tough 69. A lefty is grounded to second. Flynn to Stearns, who's playing first base today. He's generally the Mets catcher. He's at first. And that retires the side. So 3 up, 3 down for Andy Hassler in the first. Bob Shirley takes the mound for the Padres. He's a lefty. So this is the battle of the lefties. And he's going to be facing Frank Tavares, who steps in the box. Here's the pitch. And that's an 8. That's tough. 0. Oh, I'm going to have to re-roll that one. 0-1. A tough 0-1, and that's a strikeout. Tavares. Fooled by the curve. And it's John Stearns. Tough. And we're looking at a 63. Grounded to second, Bill Allman. 2 away. 4-3 in your scorebook. And Lee Mazzilli. Snake Eyes Wheelhouse 55. Wheelhouse 55 versus a lefty. That's outrange. Grounded to third. Dade with a nice play. Fires to first. And throws out Mazzilli. 3 up, 3 down. After 1, no score. This is almost a chartless game. I may look at the charts 2-3 times a game. That's for Patient 14 to Dave Winfield. And that's going to be a base on ball. So Winfield is a threat to steal. We're going to roll 4 or less. He goes. And we roll a 12. Now that means he may get picked off. Yeah. He could get picked off here. So let's see what happens. And we have to find that chart. Hopefully I have it. Yeah, here it is. Let me show you how that works. Okay, pickoffs. I'm going to re-roll the 2. Actually, I have to look at the hold rating. He's an 8. So pickoff attempt 12. So now I'm going to roll 2 D10. And that's a 58. A 58, his runner is back safely. So Winfield is on at first. There's nobody out, and it's Gene Tennis. In play 31. That's going to be a wild pitch. So Hassler, wild pitches Dave Winfield to second. And like I said, in this game, Hassler had 2 wild pitches. So far he has 1. Gene Tennis. That's patient 46. Patient 46 is base on ball. So runners on first and second. Hassler's walked the first 2 batters here. And it's Jerry Turner. It's a left-handed batter, batted 235 versus lefties. But he's in this game. They could have put in a right-handed batter. I believe they have some. For example, yesterday they had a Wilhelm. Wilhelm is a righty, and he batted 289 versus lefties, but they decided to go with Jerry Turner, lefty versus lefty. So, interesting. All right, so Jerry Turner's up. Now, Jerry Turner's a B bunter, and he's going to bunt these guys over. And we look here at sacrifice hit. It's back to the catcher, 2-4. Both runners advance. And now it's Kurt Bevacqua. He's the first baseman for the Padres in today's game, and he batted 227 versus lefties. Here's the pitch from Hassler. That's a 6. A patient 73, and that's a single. And runners advance 1 base, line drive into left field. So it's an RBI single, and the Padres are up 1-0. Bill Alman now, runners on first and third. Infield is still back for the Mets. And let's see if Bavak was a threat to steal. He actually may be a threat to steal. Let's roll. Oh, he is. He's going to be going. And the catcher is Trevino. Let's look at his arm rating real quick. He's a 2-arm rating, so he has a really decent arm rating. And Bavak was an F, so that's going to put him in the poor range, and he's going to be thrown out. So Bavacqua is thrown out stealing. The next batter was a righty, so that's going to be the second baseman covering. Caught stealing 2-4. So Trevino throws out Bavacqua. And Billy Alman with 2 outs now and a runner on third. That's a 10. Patient 87, and that's grounded to short. Taveras fires to first, and that retires the side, but not before the Padres take a 1-0 lead on the Mets as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Bob Shirley is going to be facing the lefty Hebner, and then Henderson and Youngblood. Here's the pitch to Hebner. That's a tough 88. Grounded to second. Bill Alman throws him out. Joe Youngblood. I have Henderson ahead of Youngblood. Yep, Henderson ahead of Youngblood. And it's going to be a 6 in play, 10. And that's going to be a single for Henderson. Line to left. Getting it in quickly is Jerry Turner. Henderson is a threat to steal. And for him to steal, he needs a 4 or less. We do not get it. Youngblood. It's a 6. In play 0-5. And in play 0-5 is going to be a line shot that splits the gap in center field. Runners advance 2 bases, so it's going to be second and third now. A 1-out double. And the Mets have 2 runners in scoring position for Alex Trevino now. Trevino versus lefties batted .306. Too early to walk anybody. Later on, I would walk this in this situation. Tough 91. Tough 91. Be a grounded as short with the infield back. And Henderson, I believe, is a 7, so that's going to score Henderson. Yep. It's going to be 6-3. Ground ball, 6-3. Henderson moves ahead. Youngblood holds at second. And it's Doug Flynn. That's a 9. In play, 64. Outrange. Grounded at second. That will retire the side. 4-3. That's Almond to Bavacqua. But the Mets tie the ball game up. And we go to the top of the third, tied at 1. Andy Hassler for the Mets on the mound. And the pitcher, Bob Shirley, steps in. Now Shirley bats lefty, and we have him as a righty batter here, so we're going to just check. Now on my right, I have a 10-inch iPad, which I use to keep data. In play, 17. In play 17, Shirley's a 3. 17 takes us to the line drive, caught by the second baseman Flynn, L4. Gene Richards now, he's 0 for 1. And that's 8. In play 40. Grounded to first, Stearns flips to Hassler covering, 3-1. 2 away, and Ozzie Smith. That's Patient. Patient 16, base on balls. Smith is a threat to steal, so we'll see what happens here. 5 or less, and that's not going to be 5 or less. Ozzie Smith, now it's Paul Dade, so Smith takes his lead. He's not going. That's Ballpark. Ballpark 68, a right-handed batter. It's going to be in play. In play 60, that's an out. Fly ball lifted to right. Youngblood there. Puts it away, retires the side. We go to the bottom of the third. Now, Mets lost 99 games in 1979, so when we do win a game, it's quite a celebration. Patient 17. Hassler at the plate. Patient 17 is going to be a base on balls. So Hassler manages a walk. And Taveras now. Taveras is a D bunter, so he won't be bunting. You'd think a guy like speedster like Taveras, shortstop speedster, would be a real good bunter. In play 86. In play 86. Be a 6. It's going to be a fielder's choice. Ozzie Smith to Almond. No throw to first. But now it's Taveras, and he's always a threat to run. John Stearns. Taveras is we're gonna see what Taveras to run needs a steal 6. So 6 or less, and we roll a 9. Does not go. John Stearns. That's a 9. In play 81. In play 81. Fly ball. Oh, actually, that's a pop-up to both Smith and Almond, and Smith makes the catch. 2 down. Lee Mazzilli is batting. I'll tell you, he's the Mets' best batter. Batted .300 in 1979. And with the Mets, he's batting .327. Got 34 RBIs, 7 home runs, stole 16 bases. On the year, he had 34 stolen bases, so he's exactly midpoint. I mean, this is game 81, so if you double that, he would have 32 stolen bases. He had 34 in reality, so we're right on the money there. All right, so with a runner on first and 2 outs, it's Lee Mazzilli. Here's the pitch from Bob Shirley. That's a 5. Patient 22. A patient 22 is a base on balls. First and second for Richie Hebner. Richie Hebner versus lefties batted .219 with 2 home runs, so not much power. In play, 71. And that's lined and caught by Ozzie Smith. The Wizard of Oz timed his jump perfectly on that one. All right, Dave Winfield leading it off. Winfield's walked in his first at bat. Here's the pitch from Hassler. Ballpark, 38, a righty. It's 33, so this is going to be in play. Lucky for the Mets. And that's a 15. It would have been a home run. It's a single instead. So Winfield just misses the wheelhouse pitch, and he may run. Winfield runs on a 4 or less. And he's staying. Gene Tennis for Patient, 45. That's a base on balls. Both Tennis and Winfield have both reached base in consecutive opportunities with no outs. So Jerry Turner bunted last time. He's a B bunter, so he'll be bunting again. And that's to the catcher. And the second baseman, Flynn, covering, so it's Trevino to Flynn, and both runners move up on the sacrifice. 2-4. Advance, advance. And now it's Kurt Bevacqua who singled home the Padres' only run. Mets infield is back. It's too early to bring him in. 9. Tough. A tough 38. Tough 38 is going to be a ball blooped into right field. Runner on first advances 1 base. Runner on second scores. So both runs are going to come around on the bloop single. So Bevacqua has all 3 runs batted in for the Padres. Let's double check that. 9 is tough. 38, a tough 38 is a single. Look at that. Wow. Kurt Bevacqua batted .227 versus lefties. Coming through for the Padres. Bill Allman. And Bevacqua, he actually was caught stealing last time, so we're going to 3 or less on Bevacqua to run. And nope, not going to happen this time. Bill Allman. That's a 7, a tough 83. And that's a ground ball to short. And that's going to be a fielder's choice. They can only get 1. 71, 83. 6-4. Throw to first, not in time. Bill Allman may go. He's a 4 or less. Now we roll a 6, so he does not go. And it's Bob Shirley. Shirley is a 3-pitcher hitting card, so we're looking here. 5 ballpark, 56 or 59 for a lefty. That's outside the range. We're looking at in play, and that's going to be a line drive into the alley in center field. Bill Allman. Let's look at Bill Allman's speed. If he's a 6 or more, he's a 5. So he's going to hold up. They're going to hold him at third, but it's a 2-out double for the pitcher, Bob Shirley. And we're going to double check that. It's a 5 ballpark. We rolled again. It was in play. In play under 3 is 0-3 is going to be a double. Crazy. All right, with 2 outs, second and third, the Padres are up 3-1 here in the top of the fourth. Gene Richards, left-handed batter, he's 0 for 2 on the day. That's a 5. That's ballpark 43. A lefty. That's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse for Richards is quite interesting because 1-11 he has a home run. Not really a home run hitter, but in 151 at bats versus lefties, he hit 2 home runs. Here goes. 1-35 is going to be a hit, and that's a 64. So the Mets luck out. Grounded to short. Taveras scoops it on the run. And that's out number 3. But not before the Pirates pick up 2 and they lead it 3-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Bob Shirley, Steve Henderson. 5. Patient 35. And that's going to be a grounder down the line into left field. And Henderson is going to go for 3, and here's the throw, and he is safe with a triple, a leadoff triple for Henderson. Double check that. 5 is 35. Patient 35. It's a triple for Henderson. So Henderson is on at third now, and it's Youngblood. It feels back. 6 in play, 63. In play, 63. It's going to be out range. Grounder to second, and Henderson's a 7, so he'll score. So it's an RBI ground out for Youngblood. Does his job, gets the run home, and it's 3-2. Alex Trevino now with 1 out. Here's the pitch. Alex is 0 for 1. He grounded out in his first at bat. That's an 11. Defense. Defense is up. Now there were no errors in this game, so it's a defensive check. 38. We have to see who it's on. It's going to be on the range of the third baseman. And the third baseman has good range. He's a B. We rolled a 38. A B38. Nope, it's right below. So that's going to be a ball that Dade gets to. And it's popped up. And that's out number 2, so it's pop up to Dade. And it's Doug Flynn. 10, in play, 84. Grounded to short, Ozzie Smith fires to first, retires the side. Mets pick up 1. It's 3-2 after 4 complete. Padres now in the top of the 5th are going to be bringing up Smith, Dade, and Winfield. Here's the pitch from Hassler. Tough 61. That's a grounder to second. Flynn to Stearns, 4-3. 1 away. Next is Paul Dade. Paul Dade is 0 for 2, grounded out and flied out. That's in play 23. In play 23 is a base hit. So Dade is on with a single. He is a threat to steal. We're looking 5 or less. We roll a 10. He's not going. Can't get the jump. And Winfield. Winfield, that's a 6. A 0-4. A 6. A 6 is a patient. Patient 0-4. It's going to be a base on balls. So this part of the lineup has been giving Hassler a hard time. 3rd time that Winfield is on base. Tennis has been on base the 2 times he's batted. And here's Gene Tennis, and that's an 8. In play 41. In play 41 is a grounder to first. We roll an 8, and that's going to be a 3-6 fielder's choice. Back to first, not in time. But they get Winfield on the force. Tennis is on at first. Tennis is a potential stealing threat, and he doesn't go. Didn't steal a lot of bases. He was caught 6 times. Now it's Jerry Turner. Now Jerry Turner finally, after 2 consecutive opportunities where he was called on to bunt, is now going to be is going to swing away with first and third and 2 outs. So this is a big pitch, a big batter here. That's a 4. That's patient 74. Patient 74. That's a fly ball, center field. And back goes Mazzilli to the track and makes a nice running catch, and that retires a side. So Hassler managed to get out of that crises, and it's Andy Hassler at the plate here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's a 3-2 San Diego Padres lead. That's a 4, ballpark 54, so that's going to be in play. In play 50, and that's going to be an out. Fly ball, shallow right, Winfield. Squeezes it. And it's Frank Taveras. Taveras is 0 for 2. He struck out and hit into a fielder's choice. That's a 10. That's in play. In play 81 is popped up right side. Ozzie Smith. 2 away. John Stearns, he's 0 for 2. Here's the pitch from Shirley. And it's a ball that's grounded to short. Ozzie Smith to his left. Throws on the run. And just got Stearns by half a step. 6-3. After 5.5, after a completion of 5, it's 3-2 Padres. Andy Hassler actually in reality won this game for the Mets. 6, patient. Patient 15, that's going to be a base on ball, so Bavacqua walks. That's got to be his 4th or 5th walk. Almond's going to bunt, but who's up next? Shirley. Do we bunt for the pitcher? And I'm going to... No, we don't. All right. Shirley's... Bill Almond swings away. That's a 9. That's a tough 55. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Tough 55. Let me double check that. It's a 9. Is a tough 55. Is going to be a long single into the gap in center. Runner advances 1 base. So the first 2 men are on here. Pitcher Shirley is a C bunter, and that's successful. 2-4. So both runners move up. So now you have Bavacqua at 3rd, Almond at 2nd. 1 out, top of the 6th. It's a 3-2 ball game. San Diego up. The Mets have a decision to make. Do they bring the infield in here? Gene Richards is grounded out 3 consecutive times. Gene Richards, a lefty, against Andy Hassler. Gene Richards batted .245 versus lefties. Struck out only 16 times in 151 at-bats. So over the course of the season, that would have been 64 strikeouts, which actually, is a lot for this period. Okay, so I'm going to bring with 1 out, we can't, the runner's going to try to score here, so we're going to bring the infield in. That's a 3, defense. Okay, a defensive check. We roll the high number 44. Let's see who it's going to be on. That's the range for the pitcher. So Shirley's range is a C range. C range for Shirley. Oh, and that's right under the 44. At 1-43 would have been a hit. So it's going to be an out. Let's find out what type of out to the pitcher. It's a ground ball out. So that means that okay, so we had the infield in, so we may have to play this like an infield in. So let's see what happens here. Bases are not loaded. We're gonna have to roll on this chart. Well, chart, whatever, anyway. It's part of a chart. Bases are not loaded, so we're gonna roll on this for Andy Hassler. If it's hit too hard, it gets by Andy Hassler, goes into the outfield. That's a 9 and a 10. So we don't want to roll that. We want to roll a 2 to 8. So let's see, 2d6, 2 to 8 for this to work for us. And it's a 5, so that works out. Batter out and runners hold. So it's a 1-3 put out. And the runner holds. Who's that? Al, good morning. Al, Red Sox fan. Game number 81. Mets replay. We're moving along on this. Mets are down 3-2 in the top of the 6th. Runners on second and third, and it's the Wizard of Oz at the plate. Al, Red Sox fan. One of the elites in our hobby. All right. Ozzie Smith against Andy Hassler. Ozzie Smith is a switch hitter. He's batting righty here. 3-2, San Diego up. 2 outs, top of the 6th. Bill Allman takes his lead off second. Kurt Bevacqua off third. And here's a pitch. That's an 8. That's in play. In play 56. We may get out of this, and Andy Hassler does. That's skied right field. Youngblood has a beat on it and puts it away for out number 3. And we go to out 9. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Mets are down by 1 run. It's Lee Mazzilli leading it off. Now Lee Mazzilli batting .325 for the Mets. He was the Mets' top hitter, batted in the .303, I believe. So Bob Shirley on the mound, the lefty. Lefty Bob Shirley lost 16 games with a 3.38 ERA in 1979. The almost forgotten era. Wheelhouse. Mazzilli batting from the right side. And this is a pitch down Mazzilli's wheelhouse. And that's a deep drive to left. Back goes Turner to the track, to the wall, looks up, and this game is tied, folks. It's out of here. Lee Mazzilli with the stroke connects. And the Mets fans, as you can hear, are ecstatic. Lee Mazzilli, trotting around the bases, ties up the game here in the bottom of the 6th. Now, the Mets haven't won a game in a long, long time, so every little potential, close game is an exciting event. Lee Mazzilli, a crowd favorite here in Flushing, Queens. His son plays for the Yankees. Well, in the Yankees farm club, the Yankees farm system. All right, so Lee Mazzilli puts one out to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. He ties the game. And it's Richie Hebner. Bob Shirley wishes he had that pitch back. It's a 7, a tough 12, and that's a strikeout. Hebner down on strikes. Steve Henderson, he's 2 for 2. He's singled and tripled. That's a 9. In play, 48. In play 48 is going to be outrange. That's popped up left side. Ozzie Smith calling for it. And that's 2 down, and it's Youngblood who's 1 for 2. He's doubled and grounded out. It's 3-3 here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Hey, Ben, how are you, brother? Here's the pitch from Bob Shirley. 4, ballpark, 85. That's going to be in play for Joel Youngblood. In play 46 is an outrange. That's popped up left side. Smith. And that retires the side. So we go to the top of the 7th. It's a 3-3 ball game thanks to Lee Mazzilli. And Andy Hassler's on the mound. Now we're going to have to start looking at fatigue because we are in the 7th. And 3 runs have been allowed by both players, by both pitchers. So that means Andy Hassler is going to have a fatigue card. Doesn't totally mean like it's the end of the world. So this is 0-2, but it's more than that. So 0, but more than 6. Okay. 6 or more. So that's Andy Hassler's fatigue card. And the way we're going to do it? We're going to do it like that. You can still see his name. So Andy Hassler is pitching on a fatigue card. So we got some action in the bullpen. Just let's see what happens here. Here's the pitch to Paul Dade. Paul Dade's 1 for 3, grounded out, flied out, and singled. We're in the top of the 7th inning. It's a 3-3 game here at Shea Stadium. Game number 81 of our Forgotten Era 1979 replay. And we rolled a 9. That's tough, a tough 48. And that's going to be a strikeout. So Dade goes after the high cheese, and it's Dave Winfield. Now Winfield is 1 for 1. He's walked twice, so he's reached every time he's stepped in the box. In play, 45. And that's popped up, shortstop, Taveras. A lot of pops to short in this game. Don't always get that. Gene Tennis with 2 outs. Gene Tennis is another one. Well, actually, he hit into a fielder's choice. He's 0 for 1 with 2 walks. That's 9. Tough. A tough 28 strikeout. So Tennis down swinging. That retires the side. So the fatigue card actually did better than Hassler's regular card. So you never know what's up in baseball. This is like the voodoo sport. Never know what's going on. All right. Alex Trevino's 0 for 2. Bob Shirley on the mound. Here's the pitch from Shirley. It's bottom of the 7th, 3-3 ball game. In play 82. In play 82, and that's a grounded to short. Ozzie Smith fires on the run. Trevino by a step, 1 away. Doug Flynn 0 for 2. 9 in play, 66. 2/3 of the sign of the devil. 66-9. It's a grounded to second, Bill Allman to Bavacqua. 4-3 if you're keeping score. And it's Shirley here in the bottom of the 7th. And we're going to let Shirley bat. I'm sorry, Hassler. Hassler in the bottom of the 7th. That's a 6. In play, 58. That's going to be out range. Grounded to second, 4-3, side retired. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Oh, wait, Shirley should have had a fatigue card as well, I believe. Yep. So we're not going to replay that. But we're going to replace it right now so we don't forget. And Shirley is this other fatigue card right here. 4 or more now. He's 4 or less, actually. Yep. All right, so we got a fatigue card for Shirley as well in the next inning. We're not going to replay it because we don't know that anything different would have happened. I mean, as you saw, just when we played with Hassler's fatigue card, it was 3 up, 3 down. So, Jerry Turner. That's an 11. That's defense, a 0-5. So that's going to be either a range hit or an error. Now, there were no errors in this game. There's going to be an error in this game. And Andy Hassler boots it. We're going to see if that's a 1-base error or a 2-base error. If it's a 2-base error on the pitcher, it's a 1-base error, so he boots it. If it's a 2-base error, it would have been a wild throw into the corner, and the right fielder, has to chase it down. So it's going to be an E1. Hey there, guys. E1 for Hassler and Jerry Turner. Jerry Turner's potential steal, 3 or less, and nope, it's a 5. All right, so Turner's on with an error, and it's Kurt Bavacqua. Bavacqua's an A bunter. He's going to bunt. And that's a successful sacrifice, 2-4. So now the Padres have a runner in scoring position with 1 out, and it's Bill Allman. And then we're going to see a pinch hitter. And the Mets, it's time for the Mets. Let's see. Oh, Houseman pitched in this game, so we're going to bring in Tom Houseman. Tom Houseman runs camps for youth pitching camps all around the country. Tom Houseman's coming in to pitch for the Mets. And we don't have to pull a double switch. So that's an advantage. All right. So Tom Houseman is in there. Fatigue card goes away. Hassler goes to the showers. Tom Houseman versus Bill Allman. Now Allman versus a righty is batted 217. Here's the pitch. That's the 10 ballpark. And a ballpark 22 puts it in the wheelhouse versus a righty. 1-34 is going to be a hit. So Allman, a good situation, 98. It's a fly ball to left. And normally it's a sacrifice fly, but to left, we're not going to allow him to advance. I don't think the rules allow him to advance in this situation. I think it's only on the patient fly ball that he gets a chance to advance. And then sometimes also on the rare play, he gets a chance to advance as well. All right. So held up. All right, so there's 2 outs now, and it's Bob Shirley, and we're going to get a pinch hitter for Shirley. Pinch hitter, let's look at who they have on the bench and who played in this game. We're doing both. In this game, Bobby Tolan, remember him? Lefty Bobby Tolan, bringing him in. He actually pinch hit in this game. He had 21, listen to this. He had Bobby Tolan. Oh, I got to read this. Wait a second. Oh, man, it goes too fast for me. All right, anyway, Bobby Tolan had 21 at-bats and batted 222 versus righties, 0-0-0 versus lefties. And we have a card for him. That's why I love payoff pitch, okay? You get to, this is flavor. This is the game's flavor right here, man. This is the game's layers and depth. Pulling these guys out. Bobby Tolan, is this his last year? It's got to be his last year. He had 21 at-bats. He's from the 60s. It's got to be that Bobby Tolan. I don't think that, so I got to look that up, man. I'm sorry. So Bobby Tolan in 1979 is still around, which blew my mind the other day. I was looking at, because I've used him before with the Padres. I think we played the Padres a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, this was his last year. For some reason, he sat out 78. He played in 79. He had 21 at-bats. He batted 190. He had a triple and 3 singles. Did he steal a base? Because he was an elite base stealer at some point. I don't have that stat here for some reason on. I'm using Almanac. Doesn't tell me if he stole any bases. All right, so Bobby Tolan's going to bat with the go-ahead run for the San Diego Padres at second base. It's 3-3 in the top of the 8th. Tom Houseman, who actually pitched in this game number 81. It's the second game of a doubleheader at Shea Stadium in beautiful downtown Flushing, Queens, right alongside all the auto graveyard junkyards. You can still come here. Actually, they're tearing it down. I was in Citi Field just a couple of months ago, and they're tearing it all down. I mean, that real estate is worth millions. So how those guys were kept, junkyards there until the year 2018 is beyond me. I was there in summer, and they were tearing down all the junkyards, all the auto graveyards that they had there. So I'm sure it has to do with the bay, and the LaGuardia Airport is right there as well. So I don't know what they're going to build there. Are they going to? I think they're working on a mall. They're going to build a mall there. That's going to bring a lot of chaos to that area where the Mets are playing. Holy moly, if that's a mall, or is it a set of apartment buildings? We've got to look into that. All right, Bob Shirley is pulled for Bobby Tolan, the Bobby Tolan of the St. Louis Cardinals and a few other teams, right? And Bobby Tolan, so this is amazing. This is cool. And Bobby Tolan is going to bat here with an opportunity to put the San Diego Padres ahead. Here's the pitch from Tom Houseman to Bobby Tolan. Oh, re-roll that, throw that in there. 8. In play 71 against a righty. That's an out. And that's a fly ball skied center. Lee Mazzilli runs it down, and that retires the side. So Bobby Tolan makes an appearance. Crazy. New pitcher for the Padres. In this game, the Padres pitched a guy named Lee. Let's see if we have him. Mark Lee. Mark Lee is in there. And he's going to be facing Frank Taveras, the leadoff batter for the Mets, here in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 3-3 ball game in Flushing, Queens. Beautiful downtown Flushing, Queens. Great memories at Shea Stadium. All right, here's the pitch from Mark Lee. Let's write him in. Mark Lee. I'm using a 10-inch iPad to my right with iScore to keep track of my data, my stats. 9 in play, 92, and that's going to be fly to left. Jerry Turner, he's there, puts it away. John Stearns 0 for 3 today. That's a 5. Patient 16, that's going to be a base on balls. So Stearns has good speed, and he's going to try to run 5, and we roll a 7, so he does not go. And it's Lee Mazzilli, 1 for 2. He's grounded out, walked, and hit a home run to tie this game in the bottom of the 6th. Lee Mazzilli. That's a 6. In play 0-1. In play 0-1 is going to be a drive down the line into right field. It's going to roll around out there with 1 out. They're going to stop Stearns at third. So it's 2nd and 3rd, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Mazzilli doubles. So Mazzilli takes his lead off second, Stearns off third. Infield's going to be brought in for the Padres. Richie Hebner, a lefty. Richie Hebner versus righties batted .291. The next batter, Henderson, batted .260. So we're going to load the bases and walk Hebner. I think this is the right move. I think you guys would agree. Bases are now loaded, 1 out. Infield is in. You know what? We're going to play the corners in. We're going to play the Smith and Almond back for the double play. Henderson is an 8 double play, so he hit into a few double plays. And Mark Lee is a 10 double play, so there's a good opportunity to get a double play here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to play the corners in and see what happens. Here's the pitch to Henderson. Mark Lee. Bases loaded, 3-3 game, bottom of the 8th. Mark Lee was 2-4 with a 4.29 ERA. Whoa, that's wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 69. It's not going to do it. Wheelhouse 69 is a ground ball second base. This may end up being, nope. It's going to be a, John Stearns is going to score. It's 4-3. Almond can only go to first on this. No chance for the double play. Not with a 12, a double 6. Anything else a little bit lower than that, 8 or less, would have given them the, well, yeah, 8 or less would have been a double play. So it's 4-3. Mets go up. And now runners on second and third. Hebner's on at second, Mazzilli on at third, 2 out, and it's Joel Youngblood. Joe Youngblood versus righties batted .273. Infield regular depth. Here's the pitch from Mark Lee, 7. That's tough, a tough 28. Tough 28 is a strikeout. Youngblood down swinging, and that retires the side, but not before the Mets go up 4-3. Tom Hausman versus Gene Richards here in the top of the 9th inning. Mets lead at 4-3. Mets are on the verge of winning their 28th game of the year. 28 out of 81, potentially. We do not want to count our eggs before the chickens are hatched. In play, 72. 1 away. Lined, caught by Taveras. He timed his jump perfectly. Ozzie Smith, who's 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. That's a 10. Ballpark, 76. That's going to be in play. In play, 70. And that's an outrange. Grounded. That's popped up. No, that's lined. Line to Flynn. 2 line drives here. Back-to-back line drives, but both at an infielder. And it's Paul Dade. 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Hausman on the mound. Going to get the victory if the Mets can hold on. The Padres are down to their last out. The Mets are up 4-3. Here goes. That's a 6. Tough 65 versus a righty. Oh, 62 would have been up to 62 would have been a hit. 65 is a out, second base, grounder. That'll be it. 4-3. Ball game's over. Mets win. The Mets win. This is exciting. Mets win their 28th of the season. What a great ball game this was. Andy Hassler, actually Tom Hausman gets the victory, comes up big. And Mark Lee takes the loss. And Bobby Tolan made an appearance. The 1960s Bobby Tolan, early 70s, 60s. I remember him with the Cardinals, but didn't he go to the Reds as well? Wasn't he with the Reds as well? Wasn't he traded? That was crazy. But you know what? I looked him up one time, and I believe it was him. I thought he had like a lot more like big years, you know, but he had a couple of big years where he had a lot of stolen bases and a really good batting average. And then he had a bunch of so-so mediocre years where he was injured. And I want to just look at this a little bit more closely because it's interesting. Because to me, I mean, the guy was huge, but I think he had one year that was so huge that I think that where he was doing it all. I mean, let's look real quick here. All right, in 69 and 70. 69 he batted 305, and in 70 he batted 316. Those were his 2 best years ever. So the most he ever hit, he only hit 300 twice in his career, 1969 and 1970. But those were huge years. Okay. Those were big years for the Reds. He was with the Reds at this time. He started off with the Cardinals, but never really stood out with the Cardinals. So I can't. You know what? For some reason, wait a second. Let me see. I don't see his stolen bases on. Oh, there they are. Okay. Yeah, he had 57 stolen bases in 1970, but he was caught 20. It looks like 20 times. Okay. So that was a big year. 1970 was a huge year for him with the Reds. And but after that, he really was not a standout after that. He eventually got to the Padres, and he played with the Padres from 74, and he never really did any more. He never batted any higher than 266 with the Padres. And 266 was with a year where he had only 357 at bats. So Bobby Tolan is a mystery. I remember him as an all-star, but when you really look closely at his stats, at his history, he only had 2 all-star seasons where he batted 300 and stole quite a few bases. But he was an exciting player because of his speed. His on-base percentage in 69 and 70 was 347 and 384. But after that, it was never really anything that you'd say, wow, he's hovering around 400 on base percentage. Doesn't have a big batting average, but his on base percentage is through the roof. It wasn't that way at all. So you can make a good argument that, he is a player who has gotten, more credit than he earned. At least from me. I don't know if in general, I'm curious to know if guys think that he is a real standout ball player, or he had a couple of good seasons, and after that, really, not too much going there with Bobby Tolan. But that was interesting. He made an appearance in this 1979 game. His last season, he had 21 at-bats in 79. Let me run down by the line score and say goodbye. San Diego, 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 9 left on base. The Mets, 4 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 5 left on base. Now, in actuality, there were no errors in this game, but in this game, the Mets committed 1. It was by the pitcher, Andy Hassler. And that's all she wrote. Mets pick up the victory by score 4-3. The win goes to Houseman, and the loss goes to Lee, Mark Lee. Take care, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you soon. Probably will not be streaming any more games today, or maybe, I doubt, tomorrow, but maybe for Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see what happens. All right, take care now. The next series is going to be with, let me see. God, I want to see who the next series is with. Mentally prepare myself. This is game 82 is the next game, game 82. So the Mets split the doubleheader today. It's going to be with the Dodgers. And then the Giants, 4 games with the Giants. 3 games with the Dodgers, 4 games with the Giants. It's a West Coast trip. No, actually, no, they're at home. We faced the Dodgers for 3 games at home at Shea. And then we faced the Giants 4 games at Shea. But I hate playing the Dodgers because they have a monster team. And I'm not excited about that. I'm not looking forward to that. All right. So take care, guys. We'll see you soon.